Now we take on the champion.
Hello,
Seems to be
everyone,
the Professor
and welcome to
Ginkgo
episode
the entire
32.
time.
I'm Gabe, and
Based
today
on how it's been
we'll be
going so
confronting
far
Professor
anyway.
Ginkgo in her hidden lab. But let's do a recap first.
Previously on Pokemon
we
Amber.
battled the final Elite Four member, Amy, and her Drakeon, acquiring the final access.
I like how out of
needed
all of
to
the
get
Mons
down
here, the only
elevator
one
to
we've had a
Ginkgo.
sound for is Drakeon. Thanks to it being an actual dog. Which is adorable again.
Hey, before we get started and confront our big baddie, I just wanted to thank everyone who's been following along with the series. It means the world to me, and I hope you'll consider subscribing if you aren't already. It really
We're
helps
this
the channel
far
out.
and I'm just gonna let that one slide.
With the last necessary access code
Besides,
in your
it was
possession,
in
you
happiness.
ride the elevator down. It drops much lower than you expected, like much, much lower.
We talking center of the
You are
earth?
definitely far
Lower?
below the waves now. And when the door
Or like
opens, you
Egg
find
Dragoon
you
in
are
Sonic
in a
Unleashed,
glass
where we're just
dome on
falling
the
forever
13th
until
floor.
the
It
ground
is
finally shows
nearly
up because you
pitch
beat the
black
boss.
down here, but you can see the professor standing in a pool of light, desperately interacting with a control panel.
How did you... You can't be down here!
Well, I am.
You don't
Deal with it.
understand what is going on here at all!
Neither do you.
Don't know what I need to do!
Neither do you.
When Psycat and I first arrived here, we discovered a dormant Pokémon. We studied the strange poison it secreted, and found a way to restore all of the Paleon region and its Pokémon.
You're dealing with
But I
powers
soon
you weren't
discovered
meant to
a
contain.
second slumbering Pokémon, and realized how wrong I was to tamper with the natural order.
The lights
What?
rise on the obscured form of the dormant legendary. The ball of jagged stone lies half buried in a crater. From within the mass, a burning eye flickers open for just a second, and when you look at Ginkgo, you see her eyes glowing the same color.
You're not
She
dealing with
gestures
powers you're
a
meant to
glass
contain.
cell
You've gone too
filled
far.
with levitating rocks.
I've been diligently collecting these shards of this great legendary lost during a great battle eons ago. I don't have them all, but this should be enough to wake it from its slumber.
You need to be
It
stopped.
doesn't want the Paleon region restored. We should never have done that. It wants it all gone. I need to set things right.
It
I
wants to
need to
destroy
wake it
the
fully so
region?
it can eliminate all life in the Paleon region as it once did.
You run at the
It was the
possessed Professor
asteroid
Ginkgo
that
and release
wiped
your
out
starter
the
Pokemon to battle her.
dinosaurs.
She
Oh,
captures
that's
her own
genius
starter.
inspiration.
After that, the unassuming Whirlicon proves quite difficult.
What are you doing in here?
And then her Evian is a tricksy chameleon. Next up, we get the final stage of the adorable Rhinocy line.
Huh?
As a reminder, the tiny
Third
little
stage.
baby grass rhino ended up getting its nose sunburnt and has since gained the fire typing. The red-hot horn of Rhinoseer is now no longer able to contain the heat, giving us these awesome split flames. Before,
I imagine that would
the
be
line
cool
was
too,
pulling
yeah.
mainly from the woolly rhinoceros, but I knew early on that I wanted to end up with the dual horns present on Megaceros. Beyond that,
Cool.
I just wanted the design to feel a little bit more like a classic monstrous Pokemon. That means, even though the inspiration is decidedly quadrupedal, it'll get this hunched over, kind of partially upright pose.
That's fine.
I also just had a blast making the fire and grass types work together. Singeing the ears and leafage on the back gives the design like just a lot of great texture. We'll be continuing with the color palette that Rhinoceer was using, and the shiny, of course, gets to be dead and burnt leaves, which is
Yeah.
pretty fun. Alright, this is
It gets to be dead
Menosphere,
and burnt, which
the
is fun.
hot horn Pokemon. The two superheated flames that continually shoot from this Pokemon's nostrils are hot enough to partially burn its own waxy leaves.
Dang.
Menosphere
Not to be
are
messed
quick
with.
to anger and require open spaces to charge across when they need to cool down. Their nose flames only extinguish when they're drinking water, where steam erupts from the nose instead.
It's
Its
a little
ability
fun.
is Flame Striker, and that means that contact moves have a chance of burning the opponent.
So it's like Flame Body,
With
but if it's the
well-rounded
one that
stats
hits.
and an annoying ability,
Rather than
Menosphere
being
is
hit.
a real toughie. You are able to take it down,
But just
it's
barely, I
followed up by
imagine.
something even more vicious.
What?
A number of you were
Oh,
able
right,
to predict
you.
that the tiny Cortulli would be turning into the Tully monster, and here we are.
The
If you
hell?
aren't
It has a
familiar with the Tully
pincer
monster or
nose
Tully
thingy?
monstrum, it is a super strange species that
Right,
people just could not
Pinchy?
figure out for ages.
Pinchy's hungry!
It's
Oh,
tiny.
gets
but, I
back!
mean, we're gonna play up the monsterness in its name and make it huge, but it's the actual animal is tiny, and scientists just couldn't agree what it was or what it was even related
I mean,
to.
just look at this image.
Anyway,
What is it?
Fun little extended mouth, and then these eye stalks, just truly alien looking. To the
It
point
seriously
where
does look
I
like an
didn't have to
alien.
change much for it to read like a Pokemon.
Right?
Just elaborating the top and bottom fins with some spikes.
Please name this
exaggerating the size
Pincheon
of
or
the
something.
mouth, and I guess figuring out a color palette that works for its new secondary type.
That'll work.
Again,
Secondary.
rolling with the monster in its name, this meanie will gain the dark type.
I was expecting a dragon,
I
to be
love
honest.
that our region
I don't
just
know
has
how,
so many
but it
aquatic
would look like a
animals
dragon,
that
but still.
we've been able to
An apple's
justify
a dragon.
not needing the water type. Alright, let's take a look at Talia, the Enigma
Jeez.
Pokemon.
That thing's an
Scientists
enigma,
were
alright.
baffled by this Pokemon's poorly preserved fossils and only understood
What am I
its
looking
bizarre
at?
form when it was successfully revived.
And even then, they didn't
Lions are
understand it,
incredibly
really.
intelligent,
I don't
but
think they looked at this and went,
illiterate of
oh,
others.
they were more like,
They often
oh,
lash out at
huh?
others for the smallest annoyances. Trainers can earn Talia's trust, but only after a great deal of work. And its ability is levitate. Again,
It is kind of
using
the,
its
like the idea,
power
like
to,
its
fly through the
mouth,
air,
like
and
a
that
bird,
means
like
that this
a,
Pokemon is immune to
the
ground-based
nose on an
attacks.
elephant, I guess.
I love how much the Tully monster just felt like a Pokemon already, and
It's
this
such a
just
wild
fits in
design.
you do knock it out.
I do kinda
but
like
you
it,
are
though.
down to your
He's
final
just like an
Pokemon as
alien.
Professor Ginkgo sends out the fully evolved pseudo-legendary.
It really is amazing how many places
Our
we have.
goofy
Oh god,
Sludgeolum is going to
how many
form
things
a
there are on
fully
Earth that are just like,
functional
that's an
organism.
alien. No, it's billions on Earth.
Knew that I
What?
wouldn't be able to make it through the Paleon Dex without getting a Carnotaurus in there somewhere. And having it be our pseudo
I mean, yeah.
just felt like a great fit. That also means that as it forms into a complete animal, the fossils in its body are being used more as actual bones, and it's gaining the dragon typing.
Of course it
replace
is.
the rock typing.
Why wouldn't it?
I know there are some people out there who get annoyed that almost every pseudo-legendary is a dragon type.
But there's a reason
But
for
A
that.
region that is filled with dinosaurs, I mean, our pseudo-legendary just kind of had to be a dragon type. I had a lot of fun, figuring out how the
Not to
bones
mention,
would
let's be
still
real,
visible,
dragons are cool.
communicating the rounded part of the ribs and the jagged jaw. Just a lot of cool elements to bring into this almost undead-looking
It
design.
has no arms.
And
Why do
this
people mock the
certainly is
T-Rex for
on
its
the
no
edge
arms when
of
this
what
thing has
Pokemon
none?
would feasibly put in their
I mean, it's
games,
probably on the
since
sides, but
it's a
still.
little gruesome. Oh, and the shiny in particular feels even more visceral.
What? Is it
All right.
red?
Let's take a look at Carnotax,
Ooh,
the
jeez.
new life Pokemon. Strange chemical byproducts from research in the Paleon region
Dang.
resulted in the gooey sludge of this Pokemon's body. Carnotax's rudimentary muscle system is based on an amalgamation of trace DNA from various fossils. They are fast and intimidating, but show affection to anyone who can look past their grisly appearance and treat them like any other Pokemon. And its ability remains
No.
gooey, so that means contact with the Pokemon lowers the attacker's speed stat. With awesome pseudo-legendary stats, a kick-butt typing, and an ability that makes up
This
for
thing's gonna go to
its
town on
decent
us.
speed, this thing is a serious threat.
No
You'll have to
duh.
let me know what you think of the pseudo-legendary line for the Paleon region.
I mean, it's
After
cool.
the
I can't
final
argue with the
Pokemon
idea of
falls,
sludge as an
Professor
inspiration.
Ginkgo's eyes
After all,
roll back
this
in
type
her
of
head as she
frickin'
passes
the
out.
Goodra line.
With the aid of Grant and the other researchers, you are able to get her back into the elevator and up to safety. When she finally comes to, her eyes have returned to normal.
I can't believe I let that legendary Pokemon overtake my mind. Psyche had warned me that I was changing as I worked on it, but I wouldn't listen. I love our restored fossil Pokemon, but I had slowly become overcome with the desire to destroy it all. Not only
were a
did you
victim of
save
mind
me,
control,
but you
and you
saved
wanted to
all
save
of the
them.
Palean region.
Unfortunately, your
And
desire
with that,
got a little too
the
far.
credits to the game roll.
Oh, dang. Really?
However, this dormant legendary...
We're not
Pokemon
done, though.
is
There's still 3 more
quite
episodes.
There's more to
And-
be
and
done
some
if
point
you wish
fives.
to ensure that nothing catastrophic happens.
I'm gonna take care of the
in future.
post game, and then I'll do my
We'll have
Pokemon
to
team,
wait
and
for
then the
another
DLC.
Thank you.
Just to let
so
you know
much
what my
for
plans
watching.
for this.
Please leave a like,
It is great to be
comment,
like, that's for
and
the credits
subscribe
rolls. Like,
if
it
you
makes
enjoyed
sense
the
then,
video.
because
As
you beat the
always, I would
champion, for
love
lack
to
of a
hear
better
your
term.
thoughts.
Just like,
Please
oh, okay, that's the ending?
A big
Okay.
thank you to my lovely Aaron for being Professor Ginkgo again. And I'll see you in the next one for some post-game
Yeah, but let's be
content.
real.
Bye.
I am surprised though that the legendary didn't awaken, because you know how this stuff usually works. We will now seal the ultimate god. Oh no, we were too late. Now we have to have a boss fight with it. I mean, that's probably gonna be the post game, but still, you know, that's usually how these things go. But no, we stop it just in time and get Ginkgo out of there, and now we are the heroes of the world. Everything is saved. Yeah. So Ginkgo was mind controlled by the thing. I guess since it was in proximity to the first legendary, it makes sense about as to how that happened. And yeah, dude, that thing was the meteor that destroyed the dinosaurs. I love that inspiration, just that idea. Just like it wiped out the region once before, and it'll do it again. It's like, oh god, the thing that wiped out the dinosaurs, a Pokemon. It kind of reminds me similar to like how, according to the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy, the thing that wiped out the dinosaurs was a Cretaceous King Ghidorah. It wasn't no it wasn't no meteor. Well, it was kind of a meteor in a way. It wasn't the Ice Age. It was a giant 3-headed dragon, and that's a little badass. You gotta admit, just a little. Oh yeah. Just. Direct meteor hit hard that thing. Alright. I want to say more, but we gotta get to the next part. There's another episode, so maybe if I can remember, I'll say more later. So yeah, let's get to point 5 now. Now let's discover some lost Pokemon.
Hello,
Pokemon
everyone.
Amber
I'm
32.5.
and today we'll be squeezing in one more bonus video for Pokemon Amber.
Oh, you
I've
say
got
one
three
more, but there's
requests
still
to tackle
DLC
some
and
of the
like
lost
3 or
Pokemon
4
that are
more
hinted at
episodes
in the
before that.
Pokédex, but that we haven't seen yet. So, let's take a not-so-dead approach to the
Dragapult.
Dragapult line, meet an ancient Magikarp,
Magikarp.
and see what Genesect was before it was a legendary.
It was a
There's
Kabutops.
quite a bit to get through, so let's go ahead and jump
It's
into
just what
things.
everyone said when the
First
Genesect
up
thing came out.
is teeny tiny little Dreepy, and if you aren't aware, the Pokedex entries for this line hints that it wasn't always a ghost type, and instead they lived happily in the ancient seas.
Then they
So,
were discovered
we'll
as
be tossing
ammunition
aside
by
the
their
ghost type,
evolved
obviously,
forms.
in favor of the water type. I mean, the colossal amphibian inspiration will be done justice with a dragon and water typing.
Makes
what are
sense.
we gonna do with Dreepy? Well, the first thing is
Give it a
changing the head.
propeller neck.
We're gonna get rid of that wide crest. I mean, it's coming back when it evolves, but we're
Okay.
gonna start things off with this kind of bullet-shaped head. It'll make a bit more sense when we see how things are incorporated into the evolutions. And the next big change is that we're taking the weird little, like, tail spikes that it has and shimmying those up to be a bit of a collar.
Okay.
And then, by extending these spikes and flattening them, we get this goofy little propeller look. Yeah, Dreepy is going to spin its propeller necklace to swim through the water.
That's
Very
cute.
And the
Yeah.
last minor tweak is just the arms, you know, making those look a bit more aquatic and flipper-like, and of course, they're going to be swooped back since it's swimming through the water so fast. The colors aren't anything particularly extreme. You know, I think that Dragapult's colors work pretty well for a dragon and water type, so we'll be
Yeah.
starting off with those and elaborating.
Dragapult's
as it
colors are
evolves.
good.
Oh, and as with all of the other primal forms in the Palean region, the shinies were inspired by the base form's colors. Okay,
Naturally.
let's take a look at
They're not
Primal
going to change
Dreepy,
much, though, to be
the
honest.
propeller Pokemon. The ancient form of this speedy Pokemon lacks the ghost type. Instead, Primal Dreepy swim through the water at great speeds.
Does this mean
They
they're
are
going to turn
able
to
to
ghost type
spin
it's
the three
round?
strange
Yeah, that's the
fins
original.
around their
The
necks
the
to pull
original
themselves
Dex explains
forward.
that.
They lack the stabilizing head crests and often veer off course. And its ability is Speed Boost, so that means it gets faster and faster each turn. I gotta say, I like it. It's a bit of a departure, you know, not having the head crest and getting the propeller fins in there, but
Yeah, say.
I wanted to have
Departure's
some
the
fun
right
with
word.
these designs since the original Dragapult line is just so cool looking to begin with. But actually,
They're pretty
before
cool,
we
yeah.
continue with this line, let's hop over to something that is goofy but could look cooler.
Oh?
Everyone
Magikarp,
wanted
of
to
course.
see an ancient Magikarp. And at first, I just wasn't sure what to do
Magikarp
with
is
it,
iconic.
but then I found a fun in. Ancient Magikarp is supposed to be stronger than its pathetic modern counterpart.
Yeah, I like that
but
lore
I
of
didn't
it,
love
just
the
like it used to
idea
be
of that meaning
ferocious
that, okay,
back
then
in the
there was
day.
an even more powerful
I think the
Gyarados.
Hitsunian
that's
games
cool to
did
think
something
about.
with that, but I
Crazy
don't
strong
remember.
Gyarados, but
Don't
we
quote me.
already
I
have a
didn't play
Mega
the Legends
Gyarados,
games.
So
Oh,
I
about
wanted
the
to try
games,
something a
plural
little bit more
anyway.
interesting. This ancient Magikarp isn't able to evolve at all.
Bro, that's the
Over
entire
time, the
point!
distinction between Magikarp and Gyarados arose, but to start off, it's just a single stage fish.
Fine.
That lets me pull in.
It is kind of fun to see like a
monstrous
missing
elements of
link
Gyarados
though, just like
into the
well, yeah,
dumb
missing link
little
between
base
Gyarados
Magikarp
and
design.
Magikarp.
Smushing the parts together wasn't particularly difficult. Like, obviously, it needs the Gyarados mouth.
Magidos.
Now, we can extend the body,
Gyarakarp.
just the head, all that is good stuff. And we ended up with a design that feels like a fun, doofy,
Fusion.
but intimidating amalgamation.
This looks like you put
Now, the
Magikarp and
colors-
Gyarados in the fusion lab.
They took me a long time to figure out.
Although this was
I
not drawn
ended
by
up playing
ORS, you
with
could tell
even
because
more
they never had
colors after
legs
I
to be
stopped
taken away in the
recording,
first place.
So what you are seeing here ended up being the shiny colors. They were nice, but they ended up feeling a little too close to Gyarados.
Fair.
I ended up with a more golden Magikarp palette for the normal colors. Pretty good. Okay, let's check out Primal Magikarp, the fish Pokemon. This gruesome-looking Pokemon is the ancestor to modern Magikarp.
Man, I'm just imagining like
They
the
are
usual
considerably
animes
stronger and
derpy
more aggressive, but
Magikarp.
lack the ability to evolve.
From this thing.
Researchers have tried everything, from evolution
Be
stones
fun
to
playing
throwing
with
it up a
the
waterfall. But it
appearances or
simply
something like
cannot
that?
become
Playing with
a Gyarados.
expectations?
And its ability is Intimidate. I mean, look at that face. And that lowers the opponent's attack when
I
they
mean,
enter
I
battle.
guess I'd be intimidated. I'll also be very
It is
confused, but
Kind of
intimidated, I
ridiculous,
guess.
But I gotta say, I love it. There's the excitement, of catching a Magikarp that is actually mean and can hold its own in battle.
And then you realize it can't
The
evolve, and you immediately
disappointment
put it in the
that
box.
this ugly fish can't even evolve. I mean, I think that's funny, at least. All right, let's pop back over to the Dragapult.
It's a fun
line
idea.
again. Little propeller Dreepy riding on a Dracloak. So first off, I wanted to show the Dreepy is able to spin
Sonar.
its neck fins and act like a little engine to pull the actual Dracloak around. The Dracloak has lost the propeller action itself and more closely resembles the normal Dracloak. The only big differences are a body that is a bit rounder, like its extinct animal inspiration, and a simplification of the head crest again. Now, normal Dragapult has these sleek fins popping up on its head, and that starts to show the stealth bomber influence. But we won't be following that stealth bomber influence here. I mean, I love that the Dragapult line merges this awesome-looking extinct amphibian with a stealth plane.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'm from New Mexico, and there's a bit of a connection to the stealth fighters there, so I have always loved them.
Oh,
I mean, I'm not
really?
generally big on military stuff, but dang, that is a cool-looking fighter plane.
Yeah. I'm not
Anyway,
much into, like,
Sorry, we
you
won't
know,
be
cars
going
and like
route
that, but
with
I
this
could
design.
still admit when I
It's too
see a nice
futuristic
car,
for
looking
Primal.
car, right?
All right, let's learn about Primal Dracloak, the propeller Pokemon. This gentle Pokemon looks after a lone Primal Dreepy. In return,
Cute.
the Dreepy uses its fins to pull the pair through the water.
Nice.
Primal Dracloak's head crest stabilizes their movement, and they're able to glide effortlessly through
Nice healthy
even the
relationship.
strongest of
You help me
currents.
and I'll help
And
you.
its ability remains Speed Boost. This just makes me happy. With
I know
the
there's a term
original
for that in a while, but I
Dracloak,
forgot
it
the term
almost
for it.
felt like a little weird that it just had a Dreepy on its head. I mean, I know that it had to be there to get to Dragapult, but it never felt particularly motivated for the middle stage. But here, I love imagining them just whipping around underwater, almost like one of those personal submarine things. Okay, this is adorable and all, but
Just don't check out the
let's hop over to
Titanic.
something a little less adorable. Ah, yes, Genesect.
Oh boy.
Now, there have been 1,000,001 theories that suggest Genesect is actually a Kabutops.
Yeah.
That was revived and covered in armor.
I remember
can
those
totally
days.
See that, right? Makes sense. Similar proportions, expert hunter, cool.
Jeez, what an original
But
look.
what if we found a different inspiration? Enter Manipulator. This is an extinct, giant, predatory cockroach. With its elongated limbs and actual neck, it was kind of like the praying mantis of its age, but
Jeez,
it also works really well for Genesect. I mean, fierce predator,
I'd say.
check. General proportions, check.
Fights a Musri,
Uncheck.
uncheck. Wait.
Cockroaches will survive anything, only to have this return in the future as a legendary. Yep, that works too. Great. So, we're gonna keep things mostly the same, but focus on stretching the limbs out a bit, you know, so it looks like the inspiration.
It's still wild that Genesect got a Pokemon movie, but it was every time. If you were a legendary, you got a movie. Those were the rules.
Or super long cockroach antennas.
For better and
Very
for
fun.
worse.
The
Hoopa.
toughest thing to figure out was what to do with the cannon on the back. The Pokedex entries are a little unclear. Some say that humans added a cannon to its back, while others say that they upgraded the cannon.
To be
So
fair,
I
with
wasn't sure if
Ghetsis'
it should
level
have
of
a
war and
I
fighting
ended up
and
landing
stuff like
on
that,
these
he had the
extended
cannon.
kind of wing plates on the back. They give the design a similar silhouette, but could also feasibly be swung around and clasped together to form a cannon for, you know, certain attacks.
That'd be
It's a
cool.
little nebulous, but I think it still works. Oh, and also, as you can see, the colors kicked my butt.
Yeah.
It took forever to find a palette that, you know, looked like a cockroach while referencing the fact that amber is where these specimens are usually found. Alright.
This thing
Let's
is
check
cool.
out the Dex for Primal Genesect.
I like its original
the
design.
survivor
basically.
Pokemon.
I think the purple looks a little
Researchers in
bit
the
better
Paleo
on it
region
just because
have finally
it's
been
a
able
color,
to
but this is
correctly
not a
restore
problem
the
at all. Like
fossil
they're neck and
that
neck,
was used to create
pretty
a
much.
man-made Pokemon in Unova. Primal
It's really
Genesect
cool. I
is an
like the idea that they were just
unparalleled
basically
hunter.
bugs.
Its claws
No
and
joke.
mandibles have been observed slicing through all known materials. Primal Genesect knows its power and hunts only prey it deems worthy. And its ability is sharpness, and so that boosts any slicing moves.
Okay.
Its stats aren't quite as high as the modern legendary, but it would still be a real meanie to deal with. I mean, heck, I don't know, perhaps you could metal coat this bad boy to get the legendary, and though that may trivialize how tough it is to get, whatever. Alright, let's
The
finish
legendary.
things up with Dragapult. So, we're
That's
not
the
doing
main
Stealth
guy. I
Bomber,
kinda like this
we're
one's
gonna do a
formula.
seaplane. I thought about going another route, but
It's like
it just
Dragapult
had
being the
to
through
be a
line
plane,
for this
right?
story.
Part of what makes
Keep
the
coming
animal
back to it.
inspiration so cool is that big flat boomerang head was used just like a wing to generate lift in the water.
I like
There
this.
was
I like
some
this idea of turning it into
uncertainty for a
water
while,
type.
but
This is a pretty
eventually,
cool
someone
inspiration
just
based
built
off
a
of the
model
biplate
and
stuff.
tested it in the water, and
It's really cool. I
yep,
like the
this
idea.
thing generates a ton of lift and would let our extinct amphibian friend be a super effective ambush predator, you know, rising up from below. Very cool. So yeah, we are continuing with the wing, and not only does a seaplane not feel as futuristic as a stealth fighter, so it'll be good for a primal form, but seaplane,
But still
it's a
feels
water type,
futuristic
all that's
enough.
great. Our Dreepy,
They took the
sitting
inspiration
inside
of
the
it from
head
the
wing,
Dragapults.
get to poke out and be the engines. Very cute.
Which
We're
means the
also
Wright
gonna
brothers
beef up
kinda
the forearms and let
ripped
them
off
tingle down
Pokemon.
to give the appearance of the
Who says
planes
the
kind
Wright
of
brothers existed in the
pontoons for
Pokemon
landing on the
universe?
water.
Probably did,
And
but we can't prove
fiddling
it.
with the tail and the legs, let us land on something that feels like the back half of
Uh-huh.
a plane. With the wide amphibian body, keeping things from getting too streamlined and plane-like. And I am really happy with this goofy design. Let's meet Primal Dragapult,
Really goofy. I like
the
it.
lift Pokemon.
I think the shine is a
This
bit better
ancient
though, just because
aquatic
like all the
behemoth
extra
keeps two
white on it to
primal
help
Dreepies
have
safe within its massive
differentiate
head
a bit.
traps, who
It's better
in
for the
turn
original though, but
propel
still.
its massive body through the water.
Dragapult's is
Though
iron
more
and color,
comfortable
just
in the water,
really good.
Researchers have witnessed Primal Dragapult launching itself into the sky and flying successfully. And its ability remains speed boost because of those little engines.
Nothing wrong with
Again,
that.
since the original Dragapult is so cool to begin with,
I like how instead of
it's just a
firing it
blast
out of
to make
Pokemon like to be
something that's
bombs,
a little
it's
more
just,
out there and
flying
goofy.
with them.
But you'll have to let me know what you think of this line down in the comments below. Alrighty, that is it. Thank you all so much for watching, and please leave a like,
So many new
comment,
mons,
and subscribe
new
if you
looks.
enjoyed the video. as always,
The
I'd
Dragapult
love to
said they
hear
did a
your
great
thoughts
job,
on
but I think
today's
the
episode,
Magikarp
and
Gyarados
I'll see you
fusion
in the
took
next
the
episode
take on
of
this
Pokemon
one.
Amber,
Just because I
where
like
we
the
will be
idea of the
starting
lost,
the post-game
missing link
content.
stuff.
Bye.
It's a really cool idea, you know, like, this is where it comes from and stuff. I like me some lore implications. A cool looking Pokemon is always going to be a cool looking Pokemon, but I like when there's a bit of lore to it in a way, even if it's one I just kind of made up. But yeah, that's just my opinion. If you like the Genesect or the Dragapult stuff, that's perfectly fine. No problems with that. But yeah. Ginkgo. I'm going back to the part one things like, so Ginkgo got mind controlled by this Pokemon when they try to, like, restore the reason. And this legendary was like, no, frig that, destroy it, destroy the entire region, destroy the entire world. Yes, master. The mind control powers are pretty powerful, that gotta be the case. If it can just control a professor to make her do a 180 on her own motivation. Ugh. They're a pretty powerful team, though. They were nothing to sneeze at, that's for dang sure. Ginkgo was not a pushover. She's a champion for a reason. Well, champion, but close enough. I think it's like the actual reason champion. But as a professor, kind of a champion in a sense. You get the idea. Anyway, yeah. It was kind of nice to see the story arc and just be like, turns out she was kind of evil the entire time. Well, she was brain controlled, but still. It was like, she was trying to get us to stop the evil team, except they kind of weren't evil. They were trying to steer us back in the right direction, make sure that it didn't get all those floating things to get resurrect the evil god. And, oops, good thing we stopped him in time. Or will we if we want to catch it with the Master Ball or something. That'll probably be another post-game thing. Probably not DLC, but I can't prove that. Time will tell that, too. But yeah, this has been a pretty darn good story for Pokemon Plot. Like, it's not my favorite. I think Cardinal was a bit better. But you know what? The Amber storyline, it's not a bad one. Not by a long shot. Again, at the end of the day, this guy's an artist trying to make art designs. And while he does care about the story, absolutely, the drawings kept him first. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And of course, you got like Pokemon Philosopher, not Sun and Moon, Science and Magic that have great stories. But Amber is like, it's not the strongest story, but it's got some really great Pokemon designs. At the end of the day, isn't that kind of what you come for with Pokemon? You come for the Pokemon, stay for. Well, you don't stay for the story because most Pokemon games story is kind of like, yeah, okay, moving on. It's not bad most of the time. It's just there. It's fine. And this Pokemon story was fine. It wasn't bad by a long shot. Not by a long shot, no. I liked it. Yeah. What do you think of the story? Did you think it was good, or do you think it was just kind of like, alright, or something like that? But, yeah. What'd you all think? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. So I guess I'll see you all in the next one, I hope. Later.